At our family dinner, my big brother looked at my father and said, "I know the real reason why you hate me." My big brother has always been the quiet, stoic one in our family, so for him to say that definitely caused a ripple. I had always wondered why my dad hated him so much, and I've never known. My dad stopped eating and glared at him, trying to let him know that he needs to shut up. It didn't work this time. My brother said, "Do you want to share the truth with everyone, or are you going to make me do it?" My dad tried to intimidate him and said, "If you speak out of turn at my dinner table under my roof, there will be consequences." I wondered what my brother was talking about, because my dad didn't usually speak this way. My brother didn't back down and responded. His hatred towards me started when I was in the 9th grade. I would get a B+ on a paper and he'd say, "Good job being average. Maybe one day you can work in a convenience store." Then even when I got an A on something, he'd say, "Well, that's the bare minimum since you're not in any advanced classes. Try acing an honors class for once in your life." No matter what I did, I was a failure. Does everyone want to know why I didn't go to Yale? I didn't even know he had gotten into Yale. I chimed in. "I'd like to know." "Great, I'll tell you, little brother. I didn't go because dad here was a Harvard man, and of course he wouldn't want to have to tell all of his buddies at Polo that his son was going to their rival school. And to make it even worse, he could have helped me get into Harvard, but wrote a personal letter to the dean saying how I didn't belong there. Ask him if that's true." We all looked at my dad and waited for him to say something. His silence spoke volumes. Then when I ended up at a community college and he relished in the fact that I was at what he called a school made for losers that makes losers, my brother looked at me and said, "He gave you lunch money your entire life and was supportive of everything you did, right?" I nodded yes. He never gave me a penny, even when I went homeless during college. He never lifted a finger to help me and didn't care that I was on the street when I was still working 2 jobs to pay for my loser college. My mom stared at my dad, wanting him to say something, anything. My entire life I've always wondered what I did to make him hate me this much, and when I found out, it was like a massive weight got lifted off of my heart. Everything made sense. You could hear a pin drop, then my dad bashed his fist into the wooden table and cut himself. "I'm gonna say this one more time. If you don't keep your mouth shut, I will end you." My brother just sat back and didn't care. He was done being afraid. "No, you won't. You've finally reached that age where you can't do the same physical things you once could. You're getting old and feeble, and pretty soon, the wind will push you over. I've had enough, Dad. Or should I call you Uncle?" Confused looks were shared all around. "Oh, let me explain. Dad's brother is my bio dad. He always kept it a secret because he didn't want you to know." I was horrified and shocked. My brother continued. "Mom cheated on him with his very own brother, and instead of taking it out on her, all of his resentment came pouring out onto me just for being alive. Day after day, year after year. I was the problem. It was all my fault. My mom started weeping and my brother didn't let her off the hook. You don't get to cry. You let him do this to me every day of my life. You watched it happen and did nothing. You're just as responsible as him for this crap. And it was all because he didn't have the guts to leave you, or I should say, he didn't have the guts to leave your family money." I trembled, my voice cracking. "Dad, is it true?" My dad stared down into the table and didn't move a muscle. That told me what I needed to know. "But what he did to me wasn't ever illegal. All of his illegal stuff has been happening in the last 6 months. Isn't that right, Pops?" My dad had heard enough. He pushed away from the table and walked away. "He's been selling trade secrets to the Chinese for extra money, completely going against his own company. The cops already know about it. I had to know. How did you find all of this out?" He smirked at me and said, "You. What do you mean, me? You. You're the only one with the access codes to the safe in his office that show all of his records. I stole the code from you a week ago. I've been searching his office for the last 7 nights. I know everything there is to know about the man, thanks to you, little Brutha." He got up and said, "There will be criminal charges on the way." We all heard the sound of a door locking, then the sound of a drawer opening, then the sound of a gunshot. My mother screamed.